Hey, I'm Tom Glavine. You're watching campussports.net.
Hi, I'm Dave Osco for CampusSports.net, here with a very special episode of TimeOut. Our guest today is a Hall of Famer, a 300-game winner, and the 1995 World Series MVP. His name, Tom Glavine.
You're watching TimeOut on CampusSports.net.
All right, CampusSports.net. Now, today is an exciting day for me. I'm sitting with one of baseball's all-time greats. I think it's our biggest interview to date, Mr. Tom Glavine. Tom, how you doing?
Doing great.
All right, now, 300-game winner, 1995 World Series champion and MVP, 4 Silver Slugger awards for batting, which we'll get into.
Yep.
Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star. I mean, it's just incredible. Now, what's it like for you hearing all those accolades?
You know, it's, I mean, I guess it's obviously culminated with the Hall of Fame, but it's sometimes it's all hard to believe, you know? I mean, I still look back a lot at doing it as a kid and growing up with it and having fun with it, and then being thrilled that I got an opportunity to get drafted and play professionally. And you know, never in my wildest dreams did I ever envision things going the way that they went.
Right.
I mean, I just wanted to get to the big leagues, have a decent little career, and you know, kind of be on my way like most guys.
Yeah.
Just so happened that as fate would have it, I played on some pretty darn good teams and had some great coaches, and everything kind of clicked. So
yeah. Now, you were a 2-sport star. You got drafted to play NHL hockey, which was amazing. Obviously, I think you made the right choice. It would have been interesting to see if you could have played hockey and baseball at the same time.
Yeah.
Which would have been really, really cool. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, Dave, why are you wearing a Cubs jersey when you're
I was wondering that
Tom Glavine?
when I came home. But
Well, there's a reason. August 5th, 2007, you're at Wrigley Field playing the Cubs that are wearing this jersey. And what happened on that day?
It was a good day. That was the day of my 300th win, so it was
Yeah.
good day, great place to do it. You know, again, one of those things. It's funny how it worked out. You know, I had a shot to do it my start before in Milwaukee, and it's one of those things that you know you just want to get it over with. You want to be done with it and move on. You know, because it's a distraction, obviously, for me, distraction for my teammates. So you just want to be done with it and put it to bed. And when I didn't do it in Milwaukee, obviously I was disappointed. I had to wait to my next start. But as it turned out, pretty cool place to do it.
Yeah, at Wrigley, one of the hallowed grounds of baseball. So what was it like? You came out in the 7th inning of that game?
I think so,
and you got to sit there for a couple innings. What's going through your mind?
Well, I was at least happy we had a little bit of a lead, so there was a little bit of a comfort factor in that. But then at some point in time, I think the tying run ended up coming to the plate, and Billy Wagner came in, closed it out. So it got a little bit, I guess, more nerve-wracking than I was hoping it would be. But you know, like it's just one of those nights that again, never envisioned being there. A lot of bumps along the way to get there, but to have that opportunity and to do it. You know, it's a date right up there with my anniversary that I'll never forget. I can tell you that.
Right. Now, you on the field it was incredible because you were a very focused player. You didn't show a lot of emotion, whether it was joy or sadness or frustration. So in those type of situations, you know, how did you keep your cool?
I just did. You know, it was funny. I had a minor league coach early on. And I don't know why. You know, we all have things that people tell us, and we hear 1,000 different things during the course of our life, but for some reason, some things stick. And I had a minor league coach tell me early on, I think I was in A-ball, he said, look, when you're out there pitching, act like you have everything under control, even if you don't. You don't want that team in the other dugout to think for a second that you're not in control or they're thinking, we got him today.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that stuck with me, but it did. And, you know, it probably helped that was kind of my demeanor anyway. You know, I wasn't one of those guys that could go out there and laugh and cut up and do all that stuff and feel like I could still do my job. I mean, I can't tell you how many people would tell me, oh, man, why don't you smile when you're pitching? You don't look like you're having fun.
Right.
I had a ton of fun. I just couldn't do it that way. You know, I couldn't do it like Pedro Martinez did it. I mean, he was, you know, he had a blast out there, but that worked for him.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I always felt like I was going to jinx myself and things were going to go in the wrong direction the minute I did that. So it was my personality. I got that advice, and just from that point on, I don't know why. I always just tried to, you know, when I had it under control, it was easy. But when things weren't going the way I wanted to, it was a little bit more difficult. But I always tried to make it look like I knew what I was doing.
Now, you played with one of the greatest pitching staffs of all time, Greg Maddux, yourself, John Smoltz, Steve Avery. What was it that made you guys work so well together?
You know, first and foremost, we all just got along really well. You know, even when Greg came over as a free agent and kind of joined the group, so to speak, he fit right in. And I think the common denominator for all of us was golf. We all love to play golf, and we played a ton of golf. And you know, that was what we enjoyed doing away from the baseball field. It was kind of our release. But, you know, I think that it was so much of what we did, obviously, was the culture was created by Bobby. And he was adamant and very good about when you walked in that clubhouse door, you left your ego outside. You know, we were 25 guys trying to accomplish a goal, and it was going to take everybody on that roster at some point in time was going to have to do something. I think we collectively knew what we all were individually, but we knew that in order for us to get where we wanted to get, individually we had to take care of our own business and do our thing, but collectively knowing that, you know, what the three of us did went a long way towards the success of that team. But, you know, again, I think the friendships were always there. We competed on everything, but we never competed about the pitching side of things. You know, we always encouraged each other. We tried to motivate each other, you know, and always helped each other whenever you went through that inevitable point during a season where things just weren't going right for a couple of starts. You know, those guys were always the first ones to chime in, hey, maybe this, maybe that, and it was very helpful having those guys around.
Oh, it was like a pitching camp.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you had on them is you were an amazing batter. You hit 286 in 1996. 286 is an incredible average. What was it about your approach to the plate that you think set you apart from a lot of the other pitchers? You got 4 Silver Slugger awards.
You know, I think first and foremost, most of that just centered around my ability to bunt. You know, I mean, that's your job as a starting pitcher. You got to be able to bunt. And, you know, I always kind of took the approach that made me take it seriously was, you know, I got to do enough things as a pitcher wrong that Bobby's going to want to take me out of a game because of how I'm pitching. I was never going to put him in a position where he was going to take me out of a game late in the game because I couldn't lay down a bunt. And a lot of guys do that. There are a lot of guys that get pinch hit for in the 6th or 7th inning because they can't handle the bat. And I just refuse to be one of those guys. So first and foremost, I wanted to be able to bunt and take care of that primary responsibility as a pitcher. But then I think it was just, you know, I tried to make contact. You know, I only hit 1 home run, but I tried to make contact because I was always of the mindset, that's how I grew up, you know, you put the ball in play, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, that's not necessarily the case in today's game, but you put the ball in play, you don't strike out. And I think for me, I just kind of grooved that swing where I'd go up there, look for a fastball, and more times than not, if I got it, I'd put it in play and just happen to find a hole a few times.
Now, would you rather strike out the side or hit a double in the gap?
Ooh, can I do both? I mean, why not, right?
You got one.
You know, I mean, look, I got paid to get people out, so I'll take, you know, I'll take the outs, but we tend to brag more about our hitting than we do our pitching, so that was always the fun with the hitting.
Yeah. So now you played in a time before social media really took off.
Thank God.
Instagram, Twitter. Talk to me about how you think that's changed the game and how it's affected things.
You know, I think it's changed the game, I think, for the worse. You know, I mean, I think there's good in everything, obviously, right? So I think the information side of social media, I think, is pretty cool. I mean, you know, kids now are growing up in a day and age where it's boom, it's instant. You know, there's not much going to bed at night anymore and waking up in the morning and realizing something big happened. I mean, you know everything instantly now. So I think, you know, that aspect of it's pretty cool. I don't like the fact that it allows people to so easily criticize people over things. And I think if you're playing in this day and age as an athlete, you get criticized enough. And if you're going to put yourself out there on social media and open yourself up to even more of it, to people who can do it anonymously, then I think you're just asking for trouble. And I think that's why you see a lot of athletes that get into trouble with social media is because I don't know how you can get out there, put yourself out there, read a lot of that stuff, listen to a lot of that stuff, and not want to defend yourself. And 9 times out of 10, when guys start engaging in that and they start defending in themselves, it goes to another level, and then they say something they shouldn't have, and and they're in trouble. So,
Right.
you know, I just think guys are better off staying away from it. I mean, you know, even with me, I'm on Twitter, but 90% of what I do on Twitter is promoting charity stuff that we're doing.
Right.
It's very, very seldom do I get out there and start engaging in conversations, because it's just become too easy for people to hide behind it anonymously and take shots at people.
Unless we see a football player in college wearing a gold watch.
Exactly. That brought me to Twitter. So hopefully we won't see that anymore.
Right. Now, on your 95 World Series team, if you had to follow somebody on Twitter, who would have been an interesting teammate to follow?
Oh, man. That's a good question. You know, Maddox would have been great, but he'll never do it.
Right.
You know, Ryan Klesko is an interesting individual. Ryan's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And you know, he was always good for a laugh, so I can imagine him putting some stuff out there that would have been pretty funny. But man, I'll tell you, it would have been interesting. You know, because even in that generation, I was kind of right on the cusp there of the cell phones exploding. Right. You know, and we were not allowed to have cell phones in the clubhouse, so I would imagine that. I got to imagine that Mr. Cox might have had his hand on the whole Twitter thing and might have put a little clamp down on that.
You're right. Awesome. All right, now, since you've retired, you've done a lot of amazing work with children's cancer, actually. And your wife and you were very involved in charity. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my wife got involved, I guess, towards the tail end of my career with Cure Childhood Cancer to raise money for pediatric cancer research. And you know, it's just one of those things. We, like so many people, were brought into that world because one of our son's classmates was diagnosed, and we signed up, like everybody in the school, to bring a meal and help out. Little did we know what that was going to mean and what it was going to lead to. But I think my wife is the type of person that when she sees something is not being done, she wants to do it. She wants to make a difference. And you know, obviously with childhood cancer, it just grabbed her heart. And when she started to realize from parents how little was being done, how little funding it gets on a federal level, you know, less than 3% of funding comes from the federal government. So there's a huge gap there, and she wanted to do something. So it started out really as a luncheon, Quiet Heroes, that was designed to just honor the moms of kids that had cancer or were currently going through cancer. When I say had cancer, some of them were in remission, some of them lost. Some of them lost their battle. So it started out as just really a day or a couple hours for those moms to get pampered and get them away from the hospital beds and let them know that there was a support group out there. And it's, you know, 11 years later now, it's grown into a huge luncheon. And we've since started a black tie event that we had for the second year last year that's raised a ton of money. And, you know, she's closing in on $5 million raised over the last 10, 11 years, which is unbelievable. But more importantly, the awareness. You know, we're starting to see more and more. You know, gold is the color of childhood cancer, and we're starting to see more and more people get involved with that. We've got a lot of major league clubs this year that are doing things in September, which is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So the awareness factor is growing, which is just as important, certainly, as the money we raise.
Right. And speaking of awareness, you guys can check out curechildhoodcancer.org is the website. We actually got you a gift because we know you have a big auction coming up. It's called a Funky Duck.
I've heard about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we might get some B-roll of you riding this
No,
thing
you won't.
or falling on it.
Yeah.
But they're really cool, and we just want to donate that to the auction coming up.
Well, that's awesome, and we certainly appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Our pleasure. Let's get this out of the way here. Now, I want to put you in what we call the timeout penalty box.
All right.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I know you like the hockey reference.
Yep.
You answer as quickly as possible, okay? So favorite number other than 47?
15.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Dinner.
Favorite movie?
Braveheart.
If you could watch a hockey game or a baseball game, which would you rather watch?
Hockey.
And do you have a favorite pitcher that you modeled your career after?
Indirectly, Warren Spahn.
Warren Spahn?
Yes.
Wow.
Only because my dad knew nothing about pitching. He was a great athlete, but he always used to give me tips because he would hear Warren Spahn say something in an interview, and he would preface it by saying, I know nothing about pitching, but Warren Spahn said this. So then I would go out and try it. So that was kind of my indirect guy that I modeled.
And lastly, Any vacation spot in the world, where would you want to go?
Oh man, we've been to some cool places, but haven't been to Australia or New Zealand yet. So those two are still on my bucket list.
You can hang with some koalas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, I'm Dave Ossico. This is the great Hall of Famer, Tom Glavine. You can follow him on Twitter at
What am I? Tom_Glavine.
Tom_Glavine. I'm Dave O'Philly. We will see you next time on Timeout. Thanks.